Hi, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Meredith. Come and join us on a virtual tour of the history of Enfield. So some of the properties we're going to look at are contained on this web page here, the City of Port Adelaide Enfield Heritage Plaques page. The City of Port Adelaide Enfield Heritage Plaques page contains information about each of the properties which received a Blue Heritage Plaque in 2019. You can access this page from the City of Port Adelaide Enfield Council website. This is the page here. To access the information, we have the properties listed here on the left-hand side, and we have there's a corresponding number here on the right-hand side, so you can access information from both spots by clicking on here. This gives you information about this property. It also has links at the bottom which takes you to further information about the property if you wanted to look further into it. Before European settlement, the Enfield Council area was covered in native pines, which led to the area first being known as Pine Forest or Pinery. Early Enfield was made up of small villages, including Enfield, Knaresworth and Islington, river settlements called Clemsig and Beefacres, and several extensive farming properties. The area was mostly agricultural, including dairy and wheat, and attendant industries such as chaff mills on the plains and fruit orchards along the river.
The first property we're going to look at is the Pines, which was built in the 1850s for Charles French Folland. The house is a bluestone house with a slate roof and corrugated iron veranda. The house is on 2 levels, with an unusual feature being its subterranean level, which sort of means that there is an underground version of the house underneath the above-ground version of the house, if that makes sense. Charles Folland grew barley, wheat, oats, vines, fruit trees, and vegetables on his property, which remained in the Folland family for more than 90 years. When Charles Folland first settled on his land, he retained 20 acres as uncleared land. When the property was sold later and subdivided, the uncleared land was purchased by the City of Enfield and is now Folland Park, which provides a glimpse of some of the natural vegetation which once existed in the area.
As we travel down Main North Road towards our next property, we come across Collins Street on the left-hand side. This is what Collins Street looks like today. Collins Street was originally known as Bull Lane, as the village of Enfield sunk a well at the end of it. Homes were built on either side of the road. They were one-room dugouts with a fireplace at one end and steps at the other, and they had thatched gable roofs. Further down Main North Road, near the corner of Regency Road, was Ang Mering, which today is the location of Our Lady Sacred Heart College. Ang Mering was built for the Regulus family. It was named after the Sussex village where their family lived before coming to Australia. Ang Mering had extensive buildings with whitewashed walls and thatched roof. John Regulus and his son set up a timber mill and felled pine and gum trees on their property for buildings in Adelaide. They also set up a wheat paddock on their property and a flour mill at Jepps Cross.
Travelling on from Ang Mering, we arrive at Regency Road. Regency Road formerly had 3 names. The top end of Regency Road between Hampstead Road and Main North Road was known as Rakes Road, named after Charles Rake, who owned Olive Farm, which was located on the corner of Hampstead Road and Regency Road. The middle section between Main North Road and Churchill Road was known as Irish Harp Road, named after the Irish Harp Inn, which was built in 1840. The site is now the location of the Reepham Hotel. The third section from Churchill Road to Torrance Road was Islington Road. In 1961, the Highways Department suggested that main arterial roads should bear just one name. Enfield Council preferred Rakes Road, Prospect Council suggested Irish Harp Road, and the Highways Department wanted to retain Islington Road. It was changed to Regency Road. Travelling down Regency Road, which I know many of you will do on a daily basis, you will see on the right a boab tree or a bottle tree. Seeds from the boab tree were planted by Herbert Maffey Hale, OBE, who worked for the South Australian Museum for 45 years. He brought the seeds back from one of his journeys to Northern Australia.
The next property we're going to look at is the British Tube Mills, which is located on Churchill Road at Kilburn. The British Tube Mills was a very family-orientated company. Until the mid-1930s, all steel tubing was imported into Australia. As secondary industries expanded, there became a need for Australia to manufacture its own steel tubing. In 1938, Tube Investments United Kingdom announced they would set up a factory at Kilburn to produce tubular steel. Built in 1939, Building Number 1 was used for administration, and Building Number 2, built in 1994, was used for canteen facilities for the staff of the British Tube Mills. British tube mills became British tube makers in 1982 and Stewart and Lloyd's in 1984. During the war, British tube mills produced steel tubes for weapons, military vehicles, aircraft and warships. After the war, British tube mills produced tubes for domestic and industrial purposes, and in 1947 started making components for Holden cars. This is the British tube mills today. This building here is the administration building, and this one here is the canteen. If we click on this image here, you can see that this is what the building looked like in 1940. And on this side here is information about the property.
So this is our last stop on our virtual heritage tour of Enfield. It is the St. Maximilian Colbert Church, which is on Rosewater Terrace in Ottaway. So let's take a look. St. Maximilian Kolbe was a Polish saint and martyr who died in the German concentration camp Auschwitz-Birkenau during World War II. The architectural design of the building imitates the shape of the traditional Polish podhal, a mountaineer hut symbolizing protection for the largely Polish congregation. The church features a mosaic designed by, and excuse my pronunciation, Stan Otsya-Kukowski, which is a tribute to the survivors of World War II and a reflection of their suffering, and stained glass windows which represent the sacrifice of those condemned to concentration.
Thanks for joining us on a virtual tour today. If you'd like any further help, you can contact us at any time at Port Adelaide Library on 8405 6580.